I'm
The
looking at the
same
article that you sent.
the same thing happened with Tate, rightfully so. But they came in and they had to to put in
Yeah,
lesson in
this letter
schools
is from Parliament. This
across.
this letter is from Parliament. So, sorry, go on.
Oh, go on, go on, go on.
Right here. Sorry, let me say another. This from Deadline is from Parliament. Like Parliament actually. This is coming from the official number 10 Downing Street. Blah blah. Like these are all part of their offices. So it wasn't like a media company that is a private. No, this is government funded. This is government. This is a government public sector organization. That's the best way to put it. Not private sector. That would, you know.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. So
I mean, I said I'm not. I said I'm not going to speak out until I've seen some sources, and now I've seen some sources, and I'm like, if this is actually coming from the government, I don't like it.
why don't you like it? This is interesting. I mean, they
Well,
they are doing what you basically say that they should do, which is
when did I?
no.
When did I say that the government should be specifically reaching out to platforms to demonetize specific people over sexual assault allegations?
I realize how that came across. That's not what I was saying.
Okay.
What I was saying was the way that you view things, like bad people need to be blah,
Silenced.
Blah. Yeah, like
that's not what I said. Nice trauma once again. Thank you.
What? Well, they need to be. The views don't need to be shared. Is that what you said? They don't need. The views don't need to be shared. The views need to be something like.
Bottom line is, this is played. This is basically your world. This is them doing what you want. They're not giving.
No, that's not what I said.
No.
Both of you.
I'm not saying you want the government to do this. I'm saying they are fulfilling your.
You did just say that.
No.
You said
no.
Wait, let's just let her clear up what she said. What did you say?
Okay.
That bad people should not.
I appreciate that.
Sorry.
Right. It is my opinion that if people consistently show a pattern of harmful behavior without showing any hope of correcting it in the future, because everyone makes mistakes, that's fine. And if you're pointed out those mistakes, you should be undertaking an effort to better yourself. But if consistently that's not happening, I don't feel that those people should be continually given the same opportunities and the same leeway as everyone else, because then there is basically no repercussions and people are going to be continually getting away with poor behavior.
So why?
That's not what I want to happen. Okay, I have more to say, but what do you want to ask?
For the sake of time, because we only have 2 minutes left. Sorry, I just really want to.
True. I just want to state very clearly in those 2 minutes then that me saying I don't want people to get with harmful ideas to get the same amount of platform as people with non-harmful ideas does not mean that I want the government to be the one cracking down on people, because that can very easily lead to authoritarianism, and I don't want that.
So this does scare you then, because that's what I was asking.
Well,
this move does, because it
scares may be a big word, but seeing that this did come from the government, it unsettles me, sure, but it's still just a one-off situation. It doesn't seem to be a consistent, broad, like global pattern or whatever.
But they have the power, though. I can see what giving.
Yeah, they also have the power to do lots of terrible stuff.
Yeah, but you should be. Not you should be, but it should be something that everyone should be fighting for them to have less power to do these things. Like I should be seeing revolts based on this, but I didn't see it at the time. I actually saw people actually celebrate
for just a one-off letter.
Yes, because people actually
revolts for a one-off letter.
I think it's no.
I think that's a bit. I think that's a bit exaggerated.
It's like in a relationship. No, put it this way.
There was clearly backlash because people are speaking out against it, right?
Gosh. Oh gosh, I thought we had technical difficulties for a minute there, but we are live. Hello everyone. How are you guys doing? Welcome back to Two Guys Ago and the Tea. For those that don't know what we do, we every few weeks now and then we assemble together, we join together to talk about the latest going on or happenings in the social commentary. Can we call this social commentary or is it social sphere? I don't know. I don't know what to call it, but we give our blurt or opinions or because everyone asked for them. Everyone needs everyone asked for them. So we thought we done this on the previous show with where we discussed Russell Brand and freedom of speech, whether there is an overreach there when the government got involved, and we explored a lot of different areas in that where it wasn't just speech that we looked at, but we looked at cancellations as a whole, and we're kind of building on that on today's show. So again, if you're joining us for the first time, thank you so much for joining. Meryl and Given, how are you guys doing? Welcome back. It's good to see you guys.
Hello. Good afternoon. No, it's way afternoon. It's evening.
Oh yeah,
evening is afternoon, so it counts. No, anyway.
Oh,
I think the most important the most important thing is probably to address the elephant in the room or the thing on my face. I had a surgery a week ago to remove some. I had a basal cell carcinoma, which is like a very, very mild type of skin cancer. Like the word cancer sounds very heavy, but it's like it's not that bad. But the stitches are still in. Like there's a line like this. That's where the stitches are, and there's strips over it, and what you're seeing is mostly just dried blood from a week ago because the stitches won't get taken out until Friday, so that's why it looks busted. But I'm doing fine. Like I can move it, I can do stuff. I haven't had any pain. I've been on antibiotics and it's not inflamed. It just itches like crazy and I can't touch it.
That's the first time.
But I'm fine. Don't worry.
The first time I've heard cancer characterized as it's not that serious. It's not that serious.
It is literally like on the entire spectrum of cancer, it's like barely over the edge. It's just that by definition, it is a cancer because it's like an uncontrolled cell division. That's the definition of cancer, but it's like it doesn't metastasize. It grows super slowly. It's super common. Like 1 in 5 people get it. It's just the word cancer just sounds very heavy, but
yeah,
like a melanoma is way more serious because melanomas can kill you. I haven't heard of anyone being killed by basal cell carcinoma yet.
So are you like holding out hope that it might happen one day?
No, I'm just being intellectually honest by saying I can't say that no one has died of it. Just I haven't heard of it. Maybe someone did, but I mean, it doesn't metastasize. I had that for months. Like you can probably go back through earlier recordings and see like a kind of spot on my face. That was the same thing. I've had it for months and I'm still fine. And it was only like 1 or 2 millimeters deep. So go figure how slowly that grows. Yeah. Just wanted to say I'm fine, don't worry. And also, even if cancer was serious, it's gone now, so it doesn't matter. No. Barely. Mostly just the intellectual property. Boycott it. Well, I've just been talking for a while. Let's let Given start.
Yeah, not too bad. Good. Looking forward to this. So, what does repeat the question so we can? Well, cancellation means to me it's probably the highest form of silencing, which is termination on all platforms, getting someone fired from their job, ensuring that they can't, they're not accepted societally, or the message or whatever they say is just no go, no bueno. We're completely cutting this person off, cancel them. We don't want them anywhere. We don't want them succeeding in life. We just want to eradicate them because they're POS. And silencing, I'd say, is probably like a lesser form of that, where they take away a few of your platforms, but people don't really care too much to go to the point of like ruining your whole life and taking you completely down. But the two could be synonymous. But for me, I would say cancellation sounds a bit rougher than you go silenced. So cancellation would be a rougher form of silencing.
Pardon me, I had some air. To me, like, it's complicated because whenever someone asks what a word means to me, I'm like, there's a way I use it and the way I see it being used, and then there's also like what it culturally means and like what it was originally intended to mean. Like, there's so many aspects to this. Me personally, I don't even use the words unless I use them ironically, because the way I have seen the terms just evolve culturally. I mean, even if you look at a dictionary, dictionaries record usage, they don't prescribe meaning. They just record whatever is the usage in society at the time. So if society's usage changes, the dictionary changes, not the other way around. But I also view the way I use words much the same way. Like, it's kind of, language evolves, and I'm a linguist, so I should know about that. Like, diachronic linguistics is my favorite subject. Yeah, so the way I've seen it used, and that's therefore also the way I would use it if I did use it, is not as serious as Given made it out, because often, most of the times the word gets thrown around, people say someone is canceled or silenced, while all that's really happened is just they got criticized. And that's not the same thing. I've had so many cases where someone said, oh yeah, so and so was canceled, and then I looked into it and I was just like, yeah, they got some backlash on Twitter. Okay. That's been happening for as long as Twitter's been around. Good luck, if that's canceling, because an actual successful cancellation where people actually have their life ruined is very rare, and the word gets used way more often than that. And silencing is also, I feel, misused in its original intended usage, but this is the way that it is used by society, so that's therefore also a meaning that it has, is just basically people speaking out against someone's views, which is not inherently a bad thing. But people use canceling and silencing as if they're inherently unwarranted, as if they're inherently unjustified. And that's what I mostly take issue with, because it kind of dilutes the whole point of criticism. If you're on a public platform and you say unpalatable stuff and you're going to get backlash, then you shouldn't be whining about, oh, I'm getting canceled. No, you're just getting criticism. Like, just deal with it, okay? Criticism is supposed to happen in free speech land, you know?
I'm interested to know your examples, because, well, maybe this is where things are a bit relative, because where I see cancellations happen, or because I actually agree with both of your definitions. I don't think that's actually out of the ordinary, to be honest. Maybe the experiences, or that might be different, and so the application becomes different as a result. But where I'm coming from is, where I've seen cancellations is, like, let's say that you're accused of SA, for example, right? Or like that, something like that. In today's climate, when I see cancellation and then someone accuses you of something like that, even without producing anything or doing anything, like, it's just a whisper, it might result into you being blackballed, which is the implicit kind of canceling. They don't really put it formally that you're cancelled, but you're not gonna get any job after this, and then there is the actual overt one where you do lose your work, and then you're not gonna work for a couple of years. So those type of cancellations, at least to me, would be canceling. But that's also filters through what you just said.
That was a beautiful tautology.
What does that mean?
You said those kinds of cancellations are cancellations. Yeah.
I didn't even realize I was saying that. But
no, that's fine. I was just trying to follow along. And
yeah, I mean, those type of they are. Let me substitute the word cancellations.
Okay, can you define cancellation without using cancellation in the definition?
Yeah. So, in my opinion, when it comes to cancellations, it is basically when something results in an economic loss. So if you're losing anything from you being criticized, you're being cancelled. That's the way I see it personally. So if I
disagree. Continue, but
so, oh damn, I just looked. Okay, so if you were to, for example, and this is not economic loss in terms of if you have a self-employed business or something like that, and then surprisingly no one buys from you anymore, something like that. That's not what I mean. I mean, if you have like an employed job, like a job where you have to depend on someone else's income, and they just ripped it out from
what's
you.
The difference? Because if people don't buy from you, then I mean you're also dependent on people buying from you, right?
Right. Yeah.
So how is that different from if it's an employed job? In both cases, you're financially dependent on others. Because
that is the difference really is in who controls who. So if you are self-employed, so for example, let's say that you have sponsors, right, and you lose them.
Yeah.
That for whatever views that you may have, that's cancel. That would be more of a cancellation than you just losing sales, because that is, I mean, your product is your product, but someone else funding you and then them taking it away as a result of what you said, it's more provable. It's more tangible as a form of cancellation than, okay, they're not buying your products anymore because you said something that upset them. That, to me anyway, at least the way I see it, to me, that means you never had a good product to begin with anyway. If people can do that, like if people like let's be real. But in terms of sponsors, you are kind of like, you bringing someone else on, and you kind of have to like navigate in, like, you kind of have to understand why they would leave, but at the same time they shouldn't leave because of your views, because it's not like they just met you yesterday. They know who you are, they know your views. So if you're getting cancelled because of your views, that means someone has put pressure on them to leave as a result, something like that. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to construct here.
Yeah, if I can summarize it back to you and see if you agree with that your point of a more explicit cancellation is when it's not a direct financial line to the person, but like exerting pressure on others to financially harm them.
It's more of the pressurization. Yes, it's more
yeah, because you just stopping to buy books from someone
No one is
different
pressuring you
from
to stop. Right.
Yeah.
No one is stopping you from no one is pressurizing you to keep buying my product or stop buying my product. However,
well, they could, because that's what a boycott is.
True.
A boycott is people pressurizing others not to buy a product.
Yeah, but in that kind of scenario, it would then fall into cancellation because I mean, maybe a
boycott and cancellation don't need to be exclusive.
They kind of in my example, they kind of are, because what I'm trying to say is any scenario that results from pressure where someone is actually being told, hey, you need to give up your freedoms for a while, because put it this way, I go to the store and buy something, right? No one is pressurizing me to do it, etc. Right? But if I walk into the store and then someone says, don't go into that store, we are boycotting it today, and then I'm like, but I want to buy my milk, and then he's like, no, they're doing this to XYZ, right? That to me is cancellation, which is where the issue is. So
boycott and cancellation are then not mutually exclusive, because you just described the boycott being a cancellation.
What I'm trying to say is, in terms of what I was saying earlier, in terms of if you're losing money from people buying from you, the boycott is the cancellation, not you losing money. So is the pressures that is being put. Yeah, so that's what I was trying to articulate. Is the pressures, that the external pressures that's being put on a business where it wouldn't be a normal running day thing for that business. So that's the cancellation part. That's basically what I was trying to say, but I couldn't say it as well.
Yeah. You know what I find very interesting, by the way, is that I said boycott and cancellation don't need to be mutually exclusive, and then you said to me they kind of are, and then you just a minute ago literally said the boycott is the cancellation.
Okay, given why were you?
It doesn't matter. We get the point. But given that has ended up a while, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that just some humor here. What people have deemed being cancelled or cancellation on Urban Dictionary. I'll just give you two of them right here. So the first one is, you are over with, done for, no redemption, be gone, completely done. The second one is the term soft people use against someone on social media when they dislike them for something they said, or trying to make them irrelevant or not important. So I think boycotting, it honestly would be synonymous with cancellation. Like it's pretty much the same.
I personally think so.
It is.
I say they overlap. Like boycotting can be a means of cancellation.
Yeah, but like that's the general sense of cancellation we see, is just boycotting someone. Let's boycott this, they're cancelled. That's literally what we see most of the time. We barely see like any hard cancellations. There's probably a few.
There's also, by the way, an interesting difference. I'm sorry for interrupting, but there's also an interesting difference between cancelled being the completed action, like the result, or saying no, don't buy from them, they're cancelled, but where they use them being cancelled as the reason why you shouldn't be buying from them. So it has, in pop culture, it just has multiple meanings, and it's confusing. That's why I'm like, the meaning has become so diluted, like it's barely even functional anymore.
But the question I want to ask is someone like JK Rowling, for example, like at what realm is somebody actually? In what realm is someone actually? Without
she's not cancelable, is what.
No, I wasn't gonna say cancelable per se. It was just going to be, what I was trying to ask is, why do people think that she is not cancelable? Is it because she has
because
so much
she's a
clout.
multi-billionaire.
Yeah, the
doesn't-
wealth. You can't cancel a billionaire, bro. How does that make sense? There's no way.
How can you ruin the livelihood of someone who is rich enough to own
Why
a
do you wanna?
mansion?
Okay. See, this is my issue, and I was caught up in trying to like ask it in the best way possible so that I can so that you kind of get the sense of why I'm asking a question, because this is my issue. When it comes to like cancellations, it's obviously dealing with finances, etc. But with everything in life, there is the good. Well, not good in this sense, because it's actually all bad that we have to resort into this mode, and we're cheering on somebody actually losing their money. Like think of it for a second and remove JK Rowling out of it. Yes, she's a multimillionaire. So, oh wow, the great JK Rowling has been taken down.
She's a billionaire.
Billionaire. If she loses that billionaire, I know everyone will be celebrating. But the thing is, yeah, when cancellations happen to everyday man, it results in like unaliving themselves, like something like that. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying that with the example, because this is not obviously applicable. This is not this example is not applicable to everyone, but a teenage, no, not a teenager. I think he's 20 or 21, something like that. He was accused of
young adult.
Young adult. Thank you. He was accused of the grape. You know, he was accused of doing that, and it went viral on social media. And he came out not long ago that he unalived himself because of that. But he couldn't go to school because that's all everyone was talking about. Like uni, sorry, because that's what everyone was talking about. So when you look at things like that, that's yes, we think that applying this to like someone like JK Rowling, for example, that's all great and noble, but this is a trickle effect, technically speaking. Do you kind of see where I'm coming from? Why I was having
okay. I don't.
Okay.
Because there's a massive difference in those two situations, because also if you're a public figure in the public eye with a lot of reach and a huge platform, you're going to get hate. It's just going to happen, and you should be aware of that before you get into it. If it's just a random nobody off somewhere, yeah, lying about them can destroy their life, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
and this is not new.
But also, like, it's just not on the same scale as well. And also, if someone actually did commit the deed, should that then not be brought to light because it might ruin their reputation?
I mean, it's a balancing act for sure. I'm not denying.
Obviously, I don't want anyone to be driven to ending their life. Of course,
the truth shall set you free.
You think so? But no.
Also, there wasn't even monetary involvement.
No. It was, first and foremost, I did say that it wasn't applicable to this scenario and this.
Okay. Check.
Yeah. Gotcha. But the reason what I was trying to convey with that example is that was the more extreme side. Of course, it's not equitable, but it was the more extreme side. But I was trying to say that even though cancellations happen to people that are deemed uncancelable, or even cancellations don't happen, or you might see as meaningless, what I'm trying to say is that there is a trickle effect that comes with taking I call it mob justice personally, because it's not, I don't think this is the way to go. Just because someone says something
this is the way it has gone for centuries, and it's just almost like a personification of what humans used to do, but to a higher degree now because of the internet. Because this is what people did anyway in small communities. Like if someone did something wrong in the neighborhood, people would know, oh, he's the guy who did XYZ. Let's avoid him because he did XYZ. Even at school, if someone was like the bully or the school, floozy, people would know. The information would be out there, and people would be like, oh yeah, avoid it. If you want to do this, do that, don't avoid that person, hang out with that person. Don't. This has all been happening, but with the internet now, it's become personified because everybody has an opinion, everybody's online, everybody's trying to see, involve themselves in other people's lives, and people don't take a second to think about what if that was me in that situation. They don't offer that grace that they would want offered to themselves if they were in another person's shoes. And that's the problem. People see others as other instead of seeing others the way they would like to be seen.
But
Can we just cherish
Go on.
this rare moment where I actually agree with Given?
oh gosh, okay.
What can I
It's
say?
precious.
That's
The Bible-
interesting.
the Bible- the Bible gives
This
wisdom.
is actually the first. This is actually the first. All right. Why do you agree with Given on this one? Because this seems to me, I mean, I'm not gonna. Okay.
What's there to disagree? Because it was just a statement on this is the same thing that's been happening for ages, which is just a fact.
It's been happening, but the reason why we have brought in due process or something like that is so that we can stop it from happening. Like mob.
Yeah, but he wasn't making a statement on whether it should or shouldn't happen. He was just saying that it has always happened and it's not something new, which I agree with.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I'm
Great. So we were all in agreement. That's all I was agreeing to.
I guess I have to ask is, do you think it's something that should do you think it's something that it should continue happening then?
Depends on what you mean by it, because I'm like, how do you not like I'm not in favor of like targeted harassment campaigns or harassing people in general or anything like that, or trying to get someone like actually trying to get someone fired, not because that person is a risk at that job, but just because you're trying to ruin them. I'm not in favor of any of that. That is just vindictive, and I don't support retributive justice.
By the way, just so that just so that
but I do support consequences.
Just for clarification, just for clarification, I understand that you have to break a few eggs to make an omelet. No, it's the discussion is not necessarily saying should it just happen out of nowhere. There's always a reason for mobs to go after someone. There's always a reason. Even historically, I mean, obviously, I'm gonna use the most flimsiest reason, but witches was a reason why people went after people. At one point, I mean, people really believed that was that was the end of the earth. Like people go after thieves all the time back in the day. Like
repackaged misogyny.
Well, I mean, that wasn't a point, but we can parallel that.
No,
we can make it. But like people like thieves, for example. If you stole a loaf of bread back then, that could mean that family that's trying to sell bread could lose everything. You know what I mean? So there was.
Yeah, but what if the people who stole the bread would have starved without it?
Yeah, but the point is, you still like the mob is still gonna come after you. You don't have that chance then.
I think this
argue that
you
point.
could get the mob after either one of them. One for letting the family starve, and one for letting the other people not have money because they didn't sell something. Like,
right?
But just don't send mobs after people in general. That will be my idea.
But that's what I'm trying to. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say.
I guess what I need to delineate is like the intention of the action, because if someone says something that's just horrible, criticize them, but you shouldn't be sending a mob after them. Like, you shouldn't be if you ask me, you shouldn't be undertaking actions that are solely designed to hurt someone or to damage someone, because I feel like there's a massive difference between like, say for example that someone has been essayed by an ex, and then they start dating someone new, and then that ex-partner who was essayed warns the new partner of what was happened, right? Like, right. Hey, just before you get involved with this guy, well, let's just assume heteronormativity here, but like, before you get involved with this guy, you have to know what he's done to me, just so you're aware and you can make a good decision. And let's assume, for the sake of this argument, that essay did actually happen. Like, it's not a lie they're making up. It actually occurred. it would damage the guy's reputation if she tells the new partner that, of course. But it's not like she's telling him just to hurt his reputation. It's just to protect the new one.
Concern.
Yeah,
I completely
people who would pull that to the level of, oh, you're just trying to hurt his reputation by blabbing around that he's an SA, or that sounded like shit. But but there's a fine line. Well, I don't think it's a fine line at all, but culturally, apparently, it's a very fine line between having criticism and valid concerns and trying to prevent harm, and intentionally damaging someone's reputation, because sometimes preventing harm necessitates damaging their reputation if their reputation is better than what the person actually is.
Right. Okay. So I think I may have. Okay. So I think I didn't do a good job with the example that I gave. I don't want to. This is not necessarily about false accusations or real accusations, etc. Right? This is about concrete. Something that someone has actually said, and
Yes.
My example also wasn't about false accusations. I was already saying, assuming that it's true,
right?
There's still a different, because what that person could also do is like intentionally go around like everyone at that person's job, like, hey, he has hate me. Hey, he has hate me. Well, there's not a valid concern for those colleagues. Then it would be to damage his reputation. But if it's to warn that new partner, it's a valid concern, even though in both cases it's not a false accusation.
Right, but
it is true in both cases.
Right, but what I was trying to say, it wasn't a criticism to you. It was just to say that the example that I gave in terms of essay is already, because it's already a topic right now where is it true or false? Whereas if you're making tweets, then we know that's true. If you're saying something that that's happened, or like, though it's not in a gray area, is basically what
if someone's being accused of being a racist and they have like literally racist
actual right. So the point I'm trying to make, where I was trying to go with the examples was, going back to what you were saying in regards to cancellations, in terms of someone being uncancelable, right? This example, because I really want to get your view on this, because correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to recall it improperly. Did you say that just forgot again? Please, I can't ask you to jump me in the last 5 minutes.
You can also just ask me what my view is on the topic you're thinking of.
Okay, so it was basically in regards to,
if you forgot, you can ask.
It was basically in regards to someone being uncancelable or not. So losing money is not gonna hurt the billionaire, but for someone like Maya Forster, for example, based on her views, and we're not gonna talk about trans or anything like that. That's not the thing here. It's just about speech leading to cancellations, and whether cancellations should actually be part of today's society.
I think that something that's overlooked a lot in those kinds of situations is whether it happens after just one problematic statement or even a few problematic statements, or whether they double down and keep going after they've already received criticism for it. Because then I still don't agree with like going after someone's job if there's not a valid concern at that job. Like, I'm not advocating for people to go out to explicitly ruin someone's life for the sake of ruining it. But if someone has received criticism over and over and over, and they keep just doubling down over and over and over, then cancellation is like an escalation of that. They're like, well, if you're not going to listen to criticism, maybe we have to do something more severe. And again, I'm not advocating for it, but if that's what's happening, I can at least understand it. Well, if it's just someone says one racist thing and immediately I'm like, I'm emailing their job, they need to get fired. That's not proportional. That's just wrong.
I gotta find out. I gotta find out. So in that case, what's your views in regards to Maya Forster then? Like the way she
That
lost her
she's
job.
like a deeply, 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 deeply problematic and bigoted person.
No,
Damn.
no. I'm talking about the loss of her job. Like, what was your view on
Oh,
that?
right. I'm now very that would have been a much more logical interpretation of the question, but apparently I was really eager to. I'm sorry, no, but I don't remember the specifics, but from what I remember, it wasn't even true the way that she claims it happened. Like her contract was already, and again, like massive asterisk because I'm not entirely clear on the specifics. I did look into it at one point with all the paper trails and the proof of the stuff, because her contract was already not going to be renewed, and you're not entitled to a contract renewal. Like being fired and not having your contract renewed are two entirely different things.
I don't think. Okay, I've got. Oh well, I mean, okay. So, by the way, if you guys have in the control panel. Sorry, not control panel. There is a click. If you click on the settings pad, it will allow you to have the for your screen like a pen, like a highlighter, so that you can use to highlight on the screen.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, it should be there, or maybe, or is that only available to me? I don't.
I think only you have that kind of power.
Oh, damn it! Oh, no, yeah. Scroll down. It should be draw on screen. On the settings part for your end.
No.
But anyway,
No, in settings, I literally only have video source, audio output.
that's it. Oh, it's just me then. All right.
You have all the power.
I'll do my best to highlight so that your points will be seen. But yeah, so this is the original article in which detail what actually happened. They don't mention.
That's already something I have to do with. I muted myself. I'm an idiot. But it literally said at the top, she lost her job. Not having your contract renewed and losing your job are not the same thing.
But if the contract was not renewed, she would not have won the appeal then. Like she actually had grounds. So it wasn't.
No, the appeal. No, but there's a difference. It's about the framing, because there's a difference in whether the court ruled that was a solid reason or whatever. But you're not entitled to a contract renewal.
Originally, that's why they ruled in against her, and that's why she lost. And then on the appeal, they understood the situation more clearly, and they understood that that's the reason she didn't get that renewal was actually because of what she said, and then that resulting in her actually winning the lost earnings back, because it actually affected.
And it falls under the under the Equality
Act. But that's the whole point. The court case was only whether or not those views were protected beliefs. That was literally all that the case was about.
Right. But the Court of Appeals,
not about whether she should have the job or not.
But the Court of Appeals revoked that and said no, it's in violation of the Equalities Act.
So her losing the job was
a result
based on her protected views, was not justified. So she needed to be compensated for losing a job because of those reasons.
Yeah, she doesn't have her job back, but she was compensated
for the loss of the rest of the worth of the contract.
I don't even know what job she was doing anyway.
Like a researcher.
She was a researcher. I think
because if those views are actually in conflict with the integrity of the job, then maybe she shouldn't be working there. But like if we're talking about like a grocery store clerk or something, then
Meryl, you're not interpreting it correctly, and I'm sorry to use it like that, but I have to use it like that because you cannot go into a work. There is no work in the UK that would exist that does what you just said and survive lawsuits, because the Equalities Act actually stops that from happening. Like it allows everyone to have a first shake at a job, irrespective of what they stand for.
Mhm.
So even if she has that view and she was let's say that she was working.
Yeah, but let's say someone is if someone is saying
let me
SAing children is a good thing, you're not going to let them work at a daycare, right?
Let me finish.
That's a bit different.
Let me finish. My point was, if someone was to work at a trans school, and even if they believe that they were all biological or whatever, it does not mean you discriminate them based on that belief. That's what the Equalities Act is set to protect. You cannot discriminate, because if that Equalities Act allows that, it says the president that you can allow to discriminate on race, gender, whatever you want. That's
example. Imagine a Muslim or a very devout Christian who hold to the view that men are men, women are women, and that's how it is. They can't get fired because they hold steadfast to their religious beliefs and views, even in the workplace. You understand? If someone asks them the question, do you believe men can be women? And they say, no, my beliefs dictate that I believe.
That entire framing is, by the way, incredibly problematic, because no one is saying men can be women.
I know, that's what I'm just saying. Like, I'm just saying as an example.
No, but it's a false dichotomy, because no one is saying men can be women. That's not the thing.
No, but he's just giving an example. He's not saying that that's a example.
I'm not saying that people are saying that. I'm just saying if someone was to question that person on saying, I think men can be women, then he would respond saying, no, I don't think that, and he can't get fired for saying that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but you're framing it as if men can be women is something that the pro-trans community holds, which is not the case.
No, he's not saying that.
Then it's just a massive dog whistle, because saying men are men and women are women is usually what gender critical people say.
Meryl, this is not about trans.
But I object to the framing, even if it's not the topic.
Okay, let me put it this way.
Okay, let's say I don't know, like if people say, like, oh, women are inferior, let's say that as a non-contentious example. Like if there's like a very, very, very extremely devout Christian who takes some, I think it was somewhere in First Peter or something about I will not permit a woman to hold authority over a man.
Yes.
That kind of stuff. Let's say someone is a very devout Christian who holds that true, and then someone else who doesn't.
Yes. Just say Andrew Tate and woman is my property. Let's just use Andrew Tate.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
You're allowed to hold that view, essentially, if it's part of your belief system.
Yes.
Right.
But
you're getting fired. Yes.
There is still a limit to it, because the example that I wanted to bring up was, what if there's someone who has been proudly tweeting for years that essaying children is totally fine, and okay, I don't know how they're still tweeting that and how they haven't been banned, but let's say that hasn't happened, and they're like, oh, children are just very, very attractive and I want to do stuff to them. And would you let that person work at a daycare? Is it discrimination if you don't let them work at the daycare?
No, because that poses a direct threat, like an actual
exactly. So there is a limit to the Equality Act.
No, that's not in the Equality Act. That's not in the Equality Act.
How is that not in the Equality Act, but the belief that trans women are not women is?
Because you're not actually attacking. You're not there like lusting after something and trying to get at it. You know what I mean? Like you're just going about your day, and someone asks you a question, you respond with what you believe. It's not like you're gonna be there like.
Yeah, okay, but what if that person is heading a crisis center for women and is refusing access to trans women because of their view? Should they be allowed to work there because of their views if it's posing a harm to trans women?
That's the precise reason why Maya Forrester lost the case. But this is the thing. Maya Foster's case here, what it shows is, even though she lost that because she had those views, what the Court of Appeals had actually affirmed is, if you are a trans and someone denies you to go to toilet, to a restroom that you want based on that, they can now quote her and say, no, you allowed her to hold this view, I should be allowed to go to. That's what the Court of Appeals has essentially done. They have now made a case law that this cannot happen to someone that's trans that chose to go to a bathroom, etc. But the reason why I went here, or at least went here, is she has suffered a loss for that in terms of losing her job, right? She didn't get a renewal, whatever. But the point is, because I actually don't know that, but the point is, for the everyday man, that is not the same as JK Rowling just losing,
a couple of millions,
like, right, a couple of billions or whatever. It's nowhere near. And it's actually good that she actually had enough money to even take the case on and appeal it, because these things are not it's not chump change. It's not
No, but what's also very funny is that people with gender critical beliefs can more, especially in the UK, can more or less count on JK Rowling's financial support, which she's voiced multiple times and even done so. Like, she's financially supported Alison Bailey with her court cases.
Well, that's very fortunate, that's very fortunate, but it's still a red herring. It doesn't, like, you just take out JK Rowling and the everyday man will still be in S, because what if she's assassinated and she cannot provide legal fees to fight all of this? Like,
well, I'm not saying it's fine to do it because they'll be supported by JK Rowling anyway, because that's not how it works. I was just saying the irony here.
Okay.
The irony here being that JK Rowling losing some money actually makes it like it has some impact, but like,
okay,
we'll get on that later, because that would be a slight shift. Let's just continue. I'll get to that later.
Yeah, we will circle back to that, because it's about the money aspect. But I do want to ask though, then in why is cancellation so important then? Because I want to know what way can JK Rowling be cancelled then, so that people can just stop going on about this? Like, what would actually be the ideal solution then?
Well, the ideal solution would be if she stops holding the problematic views.
Banks stop banking with her. Everybody just shuts her down. Her banks are frozen.
Do you agree with that?
Allow her to move anywhere.
That's not proportional.
That's ideal.
I don't get it. Like,
there is no solution. She's winning. She's winning all day. She's winning. She's got money. Once you have that level of wealth, there's nothing.
No, because I've been very clear. I've been very clear already that I'm not an advocate for intentionally going out to ruin someone's life.
That's no. But this is not intentionally ruining someone's life, though. This is
getting off to stop doing business with her is like pretty severe.
Yeah, but this is okay.
It's not even severe with her. Reflect her own businesses that are detached from her.
Yeah, but this is beautiful, because you were saying at one point someone is uncancelable, but then now
by uncancelable I mean like it's impossible to take away her platform because she has so much money and so much fame.
Right, but I'm saying that you can still take it away. It's just going to require a lot of heavy lifting, which would be taking measures to actually.
There's not enough of that.
Right, but then you're presuming that you're presuming that I am advocating for cancellation, which I never said.
No, I'm not presuming that. I'm actually
I'm saying she is uncancelable, and I'm also saying I'm not in favor of canceling to begin with.
Right. I'm trying to unpack that, and I'm trying to ask, what is the end goal then? If you don't want this person to have a platform, but yet at the same time, you're not taking steps to make this person have a platform, like, you know, lose their platform? What's the actual end goal in trying
To change their view, to change her view so she understands what she's doing is the end goal. To make her have a revelation, which she will not have. But that's the goal.
I
Is
should
that
know.
true?
Understand.
Is that true?
And that's the only
Like
goal.
my entire ethics revolves around reducing harm to everyone. That's also why I'm not in favor of retributive or punitive justice, because it's just inflicting harm as a punishment for harm, and that doesn't really change people, doesn't really help people do better. It just breeds resentment in most cases. But I want to just reduce harm for all people, including the people who are doing bad things. And by bad thing, I know bad things is like a very unnuanced way of saying things, but it's just, for argument's sake, it's an easy term. But I want nobody to be harmed, but sometimes someone needs to have some kind of disadvantage for total harm to be reduced. Like if there's a if there's a serial criminal of some kind, then them suffering some kind of harm in, for example, limiting their freedoms is less bad than the harm that person would be doing to others if they did have that freedom. So it's like you have to weigh things. But ideally, I'd like for no one to lose any freedoms if it's possible. But if someone's freedoms are interfering with other people's freedoms, there is a conflict and there's no win-win situation. So I don't want anyone to lose money per se. I would want them to stop using the money in harmful ways. Like she can keep her $1 billion or what, pounds. Sorry, it's the American accent. But she can keep her £1 billion. I don't care if she stops using it in harmful ways.
Yeah, but okay. So this is what, right? This is what I don't get, because this is what I'm trying to wrap my head around. Because she has had bombs sent to her, a letter bomb sent not bombs. Sorry, let me correct myself. It wasn't multiple bombs that was sent to her, just one that I heard of. Let me put it out there as well. Just one bomb that was sent to her by the post. And she's had all of that just for these views. That doesn't deter her. She continues and continues. The money won't deter her, etc. Like, so what would is, that's what I'm trying to get at, because at this point, because I'll just be straight up, like if I was to see someone like that, right, and I was to, like, I would just walk away at this point and be like, okay, fine, you have those views, fine, I'm just gonna leave it and just move on.
The only thing people can do is not support her product. If you don't like her, don't support her product and move it on. You don't need to keep squealing about, oh, JK this, JK this. You can do that if you want to, but it's not going to change anything, because this person is going to keep.
It is going to change what other people hear.
Well, there you go. That's the only thing you can do, I guess.
Because I would have never found out about this if there weren't people on Twitter talking about it. So if everyone who has an issue with her who knows that she's not going to change, which in all fairness she probably won't.
She's not. Yeah.
Like if everyone just stopped talking about it, then so many people wouldn't find out what the problem is and would continue supporting her. Like the thing is, I'm against death threats. I'm against bomb threats. I'm against violence. I'm against all of that stuff. Threatening doesn't help, because threatening doesn't help her see, oh, maybe what I said was wrong. It just strengthens them, and they're like, see, I'm getting death threats. They're the bad guys. Like, it just helps her, if anything. Like, I'm not saying that if there's a goal that should be achieved, it should be achieved at all costs, because no, sometimes the costs are worse than the goal. Yeah, and then you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, but society also helps her as well, because let me ask you this, yeah. And this is just an example. We're not gonna dwell on this. There is she did make a tweet. Let me see if I can get it up.
No, is it the tweet from yesterday?
No, it's about I accidentally moved away from it. But the tweet was essentially about is the tweet was essentially about the recording of crime statistics for trans people. So let's say that so I believe she was a trans woman, and the crime that the trans woman committed was recorded as a woman's crime. So
Yeah.
and then
So?
she was like, "This is not our crime. We don't do this. We don't do this."
Oh, that one.
Right.
But that is
right.
so dumb.
But that's emboldening her. We're not gonna get into it. I said no. We're not gonna get into it.
No, I know, but
What do you mean,
But it
man?
does embolden her though. But it does actually affirm our worldview why this would be an issue.
That's true. It's very true.
no, because she is a woman, and if a cis woman commits a crime, she's not going to go, "Oh, not our crimes." Like, who cares? Nobody's saying she's committing crimes.
Right.
But
Like, we're all human. Are we going to say, "Oh, another human committed a crime"? Oh, not our crimes.
Right.
Like,
Right.
That's
it is
how it's-
just
that's-
posturing.
That's how
And
it
just
should be.
transphobic. That's all it is. Because if you record someone as a trans woman, you know that they are not born female.
Then why do we record people as men and women in the first place? There's no point.
Meryl,
in that
we're
case.
not.
You can do
arguing
both. Like, do man, woman, male, female. Like, have a matrix. You have sex and gender identity. You have all the data. If you want to know all cis men and cis women, you can see that. If you want to see all cis men and
know
trans women, you can see that. Like, you can see all of it.
Why don't you just put everyone on the spectrum? Then you put the male, female, you put the trans and the trans, and then everyone in between, and then they have their own metrics.
But then again,
And we can see.
they will say that they're not inclusive. It's been happening.
Who cares? Who cares? That's the only way.
No, because if you just record sex and gender identity, the whole problem goes away.
But even trans don't advocate for that position, Meryl. That's what I'm trying to say. Like they
I have never seen trans people advocate against that.
No. Okay, just a little tangent here. We'll be here for 5 minutes. Literally not long. Literally not long. Just a little tangent here.
30 minutes.
The minute if you were to advocate for that, they will now. This is and I'm saying this because we discussed this on episode 3 with Stevie. I'm saying this because when it was suggested to have different categories for trans and this and that, for the sports etc., they say no. Right. And we were about to go into the prison part, and then you said no, that will make it convoluted. But this is the point I was trying to make back then. I was saying if you don't actually have this if you don't actually have this separate prison system, for example, it will just continue leading to problems. Where
you know that this is an entirely separate issue from how the crimes are recorded.
I understand. Hear my point.
So why did we switch?
The point is, if you were to put a trans man, trans woman, man, it would then give rise to
male, female, woman, man.
Right, male, female, woman, man. Right.
Yeah.
It would then give rise to male sports, female sports, men's sports, women's sports. That's just how humans think. What I was trying to say earlier, and I'm leaving this tangent now. What I was trying to say earlier was applying the law of powers, right? If one is doing that now in terms of crime statistics, let's say this crime was for, let's just say robbery, just for the sake, just to keep it simple. Yeah. This person robbed a bank. I don't know what they actually did on it, but let's say that this person did that, and it's a woman. Multiply that by 5 more trans women, for example, and they did this, and they did the same thing. You will see a rise, and it may not be reflective of that particular group. It might not be.
That's why I said, and that's why I said you record both sex and gender identity, because separately. The numbers for females would remain the same.
Right, but I'm asking you, did you remember when this was
what if the statistics change? Like, if you want to see if you want to see the crimes committed by people who were born female, you just look at their sex. If you want to see the crimes committed by people with a woman gender identity, you look at their gender identity. Like, you still have the data. You can still, I mean, even if you want to...
Why not just have a section for crimes committed by people with female gender identity?
That's what
I literally just said, record sex and record gender identity.
Meryl,
I know.
Meryl, I hear that. However, we're not gonna pretend like the last 3 years did not happen, because I literally remember this being an issue where people were literally crying for replacing the word mothers to birthing people because they wanted to feel inclusive.
That was stupid.
So why do you think this will not happen here? Like, this is why people were outraged at JK Rowling. They were like,
these things are all just not related.
How is it not related?
Also, I think, first of all, I think birthing person is a stupid term, because it just sounds dumb. But
it sounds like
if you're like the thing is, if you're using, I still think birthing person is a stupid term, but if you're using that to replace the word mother, I don't think it makes sense. If you're using it to replace women, then it does make sense, because not only women are people with uteruses, and not only people with uteruses are women.
Right. And that was that.
And if it's something that's specifically referring to reproductive health, then you want to talk to people with a uterus. So if you say women, you're excluding people who do have a uterus, and you're including people who don't have a uterus. So you're not actually targeting the right group. If you say people with a uterus, you're getting 100% of the people you need to talk about. If you're talking about, I don't know, what's it called? Baarmoederkanker, uterus cancer.
So now we're basically taking into account the minority, the small minority, and into the factor of things. Like,
this was the.
I want to refer to 100% of the appropriate people.
This was the argument literally in 20.
Even in science, we say generally.
What I'm saying is science. Your views are not the scientific ones here.
Right.
In
okay.
Science, you would say
it's not. By the way, I haven't.
In science, you would say people with a uterus if you're talking about like cervical cancer.
Women have uteruses.
Yeah, but if you're talking about cervical cancer, saying people with uteruses is 100% of the people you're talking about. It's literally the most apt term to use.
What does that mean?
Oh my gosh, this is.
I mean, are you going to talk about
like semantics?
Yeah, semantics matter when you're trying to be scientifically accurate.
But the majority of women having uteruses is scientifically accurate.
Yeah, but if you're talking about cervical cancer, then saying women is only like 90% of the people. If you say people with uteruses, that's 100% of the people that you're referring to when you're talking about cervical cancer. Why would you use a term that does not entirely correspond to the appropriate people for that situation?
Sidebar, Meryl. Can men, me, natural born male, can I actually get cervical cancer? I'm actually genuinely serious. I'm actually
like assuming you were born male, no.
Okay.
At least until the point that we can do uterus transplants, which is far into the future, like in male people, because it's been done in female people for a long time.
I just wanted that satisfied for a minute because I didn't actually know for a second.
Right.
I know.
If we're talking about cervical cancer, and we're talking about women, then not even all cis women are addressed in that, because not all cis women have a uterus.
But the end goal is
some people are born without it. Some people have to have it removed.
But this is my point.
You all understand that a normal person.
1 second,
bro. Come on.
Yeah, but if I'm talking about cervical cancer, why shouldn't I? Okay, hang on. I can cut this. I can cut this really short. If I want to say all women should go get a Pap smear, is a Pap smear for cervical cancer?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know. Oh, okay. I don't. It's an American term. Okay. hang on, but let me get through this. If I say all women should get regularly tested for cervical cancer, right? And option 2, I say all people with a uterus should get regularly screened for cervical cancer. Isn't the second one more appropriate?
But I think, let's just be realistic here. I think the people who used to be women would understand that includes them as well. Like, we're not, like,
if I see the term people with a uterus, I also know it includes me. I don't need to know that I'm female to know I have a uterus.
Okay, guys, 1 second.
No, my point. My point. Can I please make my point so we can move on? If I say women, if I say the first one, women, that means that I'm including people who don't need that screening, and I'm excluding people who do need that screening. If I say people with a uterus, I'm including literally 100% of the people I need to address with that. So it's literally inclusive to all the people it needs to include and exclusive to all the people it needs to exclude.
All people with 5 fingers, we get it. Yeah, including all the people with 5 fingers, we get it. We understand. Let's move on.
Okay. The same way that you are fighting for that language to be inclusive for all is the same way that JK Rowling believes, from my interpretation of that tweet in regards to the crime statistics, is the reason that this has to be defined the way that it properly is, not creating extra checkbox, XYZ.
What's not proper about it?
Because end of the day, you will still have the same issues of fighting for inclusivity if we were to have gender neutral terms. Sorry, not gender neutral. Gender. What you said earlier in regards to
to have the female, male, and then men, women.
Right. You will still have
on the women's side. We still be like, but we want to still be in the female part. We still want to be in the female part. There will always be those people. There will always be those people. We can all agree. There will always be those people. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. So if you keep placating to the minority like this, it's a problem, bro.
Placating? People wanting to have their identity recognized is not placating.
No, I'm
if
saying
people are saying, if a trans woman says she's a woman, that's her gender identity. If she says, I was born female, she's wrong.
That's fine. Look, that's fine. That's fine. I'm agreeing with that. But I'm saying in terms of like changing all the little minutiae in every little thing.
Right.
Like
I'm just making it more accurate.
People are not looking at crime statistics, so who cares? Like, who's looking at crime statistics on a daily, bro? No one cares.
Right. So why should we take care of any minority? Because they're a minority. It's not harming the majority to do this. That's the issue. Why shouldn't we be inclusive if it's not harming the majority?
No, because no matter how inclusive you get, there will always be division. There's always going to be people who want to divide.
Yeah, so why shouldn't we try to minimize that division?
But then what happens if
you're arguing in favor of exclusionary language towards minorities?
No, distinctive language. That's what we're not like vague, we don't know what's what language. They want distinctive language to understand.
Yeah, distinctive. Sex is biology, gender identity is not biology. Man and woman is gender identity, male, female is sex.
But this is something that's just become new recently. We're changing what was.
It really hasn't. It's been scientifically accepted for literal decades. It's been in college textbooks for 20 years. This is not new.
20 years is recent. It's not like, bro, 20 years is like...
Yeah, at least 20 years, but the discourse has been going on for longer. I have personally seen the textbook from 20 years ago. But people are acting like it changed in the last 5 years. It didn't.
That's recent.
I mean, it gained popularity in the last 5 years, I'll say.
Bro, even
sure,
like,
but people are acting like it changed in the last 5 years. It didn't.
Okay, so
it's been normal in science to distinguish sex and gender identity for decades, since the 70s at least.
That's still recent.
Yeah, but
what? The civil rights movement was also recent.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Who cares? Who cares? What's your point? Should we not change as science evolves?
To be fair, Meryl, to be fair,
make new terms for new things, not dilute old terms for different things.
To be fair, Meryl,
it's not a new thing. It's the same thing. Gender is not new.
Meryl, let's stop here. If you asked anyone back in 2000, is a man a male? Everyone would say yes. Everyone, almost everyone. You would be hard pressed to find people would say, actually, no, they're not. You'd be hard pressed. This is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. To
be fair,
you're making a fallacious appeal to popularity.
They were synonymous. That's all I'm saying. They were synonymous.
Okay, but Meryl.
Right, but trans people have literally been around for as long as we have human history.
No. Meryl is not human. Meryl.
They're new terms for things that have already existed.
Brother. Okay, cool.
I don't know what you mean by around history, because I have never seen cave paintings of Egypt or of Asian Egypt.
Okay, maybe do some more research then, because we literally have evidence.
Can you show it? I'll be very happy to look at this.
I don't have like a paper lying around.
You must
okay, you can look up the Roman Emperor Elagabalus, who might have very well been trans, who wanted to be addressed as Mrs.
But he was a man dressed as a woman.
What was your question?
Go on.
No, you asked the question.
He was a man dressed as a woman. Yes.
No, Caleb.
That's a transvestite, though. That's not a trans man. That's not a trans male or male.
Yo, bro, chill.
I don't know, isn't it?
How are you defining a transgender person?
Wait, was he definitely a transgender?
He dressed as women. Yeah, as a woman. He had sex with men dressed as women. Like, that's what he did. That's the life he lived.
Okay, who you have sex with does not define whether or not you're trans, by the way.
You see my confusion?
No. I'm just saying he dressed as a woman, though. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying he dressed as a woman. It's two together.
But this is the thing, though. This is the thing. When I say transvestite, that's actually somebody that likes dressing as a woman, but they're still they still say, I'm a man, or vice versa. So like that's why I remember.
Yeah, but Elagabalus didn't just dress as a woman. Elagabalus wanted to be addressed as a woman.
No, I'm looking at, because I remember looking into. I forgot what I was researching, but I came across this performer called Divine. I think she was the first, he or she.
Divine was more like a drag queen than.
Right, but
you know that drag queens and trans people are also not the same, right?
I completely understand. Okay. But
cool.
I'm saying that's when I came across. That's when I understood.
Wait, can I say this one thing? Trans people are the evolved form. They are the transcendent.
Why you like this, man? Why?
I had to throw it out there.
No, okay. Look, guys, if you're watching,
it's wild to me how vocal you people are if you don't have a basic understanding of the subject.
No, I wouldn't. Well, if you,
it's not the same thing. That was just a bit of banter, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, that was. Please, if you guys are tuning in for the first time, don't be upset. Don't click so quickly. Click the like button though. Click the like button. We would like that, but don't click so quickly, because we do this all the time. We banter with each other.
It's all in love. Love all.
If you like that interaction, click like. If you didn't like that interaction, click like, so we know that you didn't like it.
That.
Double thumbs up.
I like that.
You can't see the number of dislikes anymore these days, can't you?
No, you can't. You can't. So we win anyway.
So you have to click the like button, because if you click dislike, we don't see it.
But
no, but the thing is, like, how do you differentiate? No, I'm not asking him, because he already gave an answer. But I hope you understand that when I'm saying someone historic might have been trans, I'm obviously not referring to someone who might have been better described as a drag queen.
No.
Okay, so this is not just a transvestite, which is an outdated term.
When I was offering that example, I was trying to explain why I use the term transvestite opposing to transgender. Not opposing.
Right, I get that. I get why you brought up divine and like all the other drag queens that exist. But when I was talking about the Roman emperor, you said that's just like a transvestite, not a transgender person.
No, I said I thought he was a transvestite.
Right.
So, quick question.
Aren't you confused with Caligula?
Quick question.
I don't know what that is.
Quick question.
Caligula is another Roman emperor who would probably have been more like a drag queen than a
quick question.
Transgender person. Yeah.
Quick question.
What up?
Why? So, if this has been known, the whole woman-female thing has been known for so long. Why do they still why is the definition of a woman still an adult female human being?
It isn't exclusively.
No, but that's what it is. As soon as you type it in on Google, that's what comes up. Why is that the case?
Yeah, and if you open a dictionary, you'll see both definitions there.
No, but it's
a female person, a female. It says here, a female member of a workforce or team, a female person associated with a particular place, activity, occupation. If it says a female in every single one, a female.
Yeah, I think it was a Cambridge dictionary.
No,
that's
Oxford.
Look,
I didn't want to go into gender identity today. Yeah, I was just going back.
I was just wondering why that Google's bigoted. You got.
If you look at the Cambridge Dictionary and type in woman, you'll get two definitions. The first one is an adult female human being. The second one is an adult who lives and identifies as female, even though they may have been said to have a different sex at birth.
Oh, is the Cambridge Dictionary the go-to one?
Yeah.
Now, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that the go-to one now?
Well, I mean,
I don't know if it's the go-to one, but it is.
I know Merriam is the
dictionary.
go-to one. I know Merriam is the go-to one.
But it doesn't matter because, as I said earlier in this show, dictionaries record usage. They're descriptive, not prescriptive.
They have to, though. It's time evolves. They kind of have to document as it goes along.
Exactly, but
even YOLO
and it's a silly argument anyway, because there was a time where the word gay meant something completely different. It meant like cheerful or joyous, you know. But if people would then be like, well, if gay refers to a homosexual person, then why is the dictionary definition still this?
No, because gay was actually used as a slur against the homosexuals, and then they flipped it around. But
you can't point to the dictionary as an argument. Is what I'm saying.
But you can, because the dictionary would never mean gay as homosexual person. But because of how the homosexual flipped it, it became the second definition. But it's always
right. So it's almost like definitions can change.
Yes, but it doesn't. Yes, but it doesn't affirm your argument or your position of you going of you not being able to go there to make your point. It actually
all I was saying is, why not just make a new word? Is all I was saying.
Because it doesn't describe something new. A trans woman's gender identity is the same as mine.
No. I'm just saying, like.
Okay, anyway. we are kind of getting sidetracked. But the point I was trying.
No, I don't get it. Do you want trans people to not be like their gender identity is the same as that of the cis people on the other side?
But their physical is not the same, so they need a new thing to define what they
That's why the words cisgender and transgender exist.
I know, but now we're trying to eliminate even the transgender portion of it.
Well, yeah, he's right.
Only if people are making that. Literally, I've heard that claim a lot of times. Hang on, I've heard that claim a lot of times. The only time I've actually seen that happen is if people are saying women and trans women. That is an issue. If people are saying cis women and trans women, nobody cares.
It's like semantics again, bro. This is
yeah, because we're talking about the meaning of words. Like, how would you feel if I said there's people and black people?
Yeah.
What?
That would be bad, right?
No, that means you're just stupid.
No.
Stupid.
No. Bear with me. Would you have an issue with it if someone said there's people and black people? That would be bad, right?
No, because
No, that's
listen,
stupid.
no.
That's actually happening right now.
No, because people is inclusive of actual human
No,
beings.
that's two distinct groups. Like there's people and black people.
You can say Caucasian people, black people, African people. You can say
No,
But I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Caucasian people and black people. I'm saying people and black people.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
saying
bad.
woman and trans women. It's like I
Yes.
get what you're saying. I get
If you say white people and black people, fine. They're both people. Some people are black, some people are white.
Yes.
That's fine. If you say women and trans women, you're making the same error. But if you say cis women and trans women, that's fine. Some women are cisgender, some women are transgender.
I still refuse to see. Wait. One question. Why is?
I see. I see. So women is the umbrella term for cis and trans women.
Yeah.
And
yes.
in that. Okay. See, I understand. See.
Yes. Because woman refers to the gender identity, and cis women and trans women have the same gender identity, namely woman.
So they're under the same umbrella.
Right.
Yes, but they don't have the same sex. So that's why there's cis women and trans women, because they're biologically not the same. Otherwise, you wouldn't need the adjectives.
I really didn't want to talk about trans today. I really didn't. I just wanted to talk about...
You can't talk about JK Rowling and then expect the word not to even come up.
You told me not to go on this tangent.
No, I told you not to get into a tangent about whether or not JK Rowling is transphobic. That's something different. That's what I said. For the viewers, I just texted them before the show, like, can we not get into a discussion on whether or not what JK Rowling said is transphobic, because I really don't have the energy.
I'm joking.
I think again, it's interesting because even seeing the whole sports thing with how they're now they're clamping down on keeping it separate now again. Before they were like, oh, let's mix it. Now they're like, no, hard stance, keep it separate. It's interesting to see.
And there is now talks of having different divisions for trans and women, which is actually sparking outrage.
You did it again.
Huh?
Trans women and cis women.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Thanks for the correction. there is an outrage between trans women and cis women, in which they're asking for literally different categories. So I know I said this for a joke. I said this for a joke. I said, make a league for cis women and make a league for women. That way, all this is solved. And then make a league for trans women. You have that way.
Yeah, I'm not entirely like the whole sports thing. I mean, the whole sports thing is by definition a completely different argument than the prison thing or the crime statistics thing or the medical thing or whatever, because different aspects are at play. If we're talking about sports, obviously your biology matters. If we're talking about what's on your driver's license, doesn't matter what genitals you have. Like, I just checked, well, not just, I checked last week. Our driver's licenses here in the Netherlands do not even record sex or gender at all. Because it doesn't matter, right? Because it doesn't matter for anyone who sees my driver's license to know what's between my legs, and if they want to know my gender identity, they can ask. Like, obviously, in sports, it does matter what your biology is, because that's like literally what you're using to do sports. So then the argument becomes very different, and then I don't think that it is going to necessarily work to just have it solely be on self-identification.
Yeah,
But
I also don't think that it should solely be based on sex either, because that doesn't work either.
So what do you think of even like the beauty pageants and all this stuff, and the women, the biological women, like literally biological women, complaining about them getting outplaced by the cis women, getting outplaced by the trans women, and them being kind of outraged that this.
Well, if you're in a competition, you can lose. Okay. So what? Like, how is it different to lose to a cis woman than to a trans woman?
Okay, but
People lose in both cases.
Oh gosh, I can't believe we're this.
No, I'm just interesting. I'm just wondering if you empathize with those women or you understand their
Well,
struggle.
yes, losing sucks. It just doesn't matter to whom you lose.
No, so no, that's a no.
All right, so let me.
Yeah, because
let me
it's a pageant.
Meryl.
Other people judge. It's not up to you.
Meryl,
You're not entitled to winning.
Okay, Meryl, quick tangent here, right? There was I read a story the other day. Well, it was on TikTok actually. It wasn't read, sorry. It was a video. I think it was a volleyball team. I'm not too sure. But long story short, it had 5 transgender players in the team and 4 cis women that were in trans women and 4 cis women. The 5 players went on to play in the match, and the 6 women were basically benched and they didn't get to play. in regards to what Given just said, would you feel sympathy for that if that was to continue being the case? Because to me, I can actually see why some women, not all, just want to put it out there, I can actually see why some women would have a fear that, I'm probably not gonna play ever if there's more people that are identifying as trans.
Yeah, the statistics don't bear that out. I've asked so many people for statistics, and nobody has yet shown me statistics that trans women are disproportionately outperforming cis women.
I didn't say outperforming. I just said the number is increasing.
We're just saying on a human level.
Yeah, so what's the numbers increasing?
I'm saying, okay, do you think that there has been...
Why are they so focused on whether they're cis or trans women they're losing to or competing with? They're just women. They're just people. As long as there are no statistics of it being statistically, like if they're not statistically outperforming cis women, who cares?
Yeah, but you will say who cares as well if they are outperforming cis women, because you just said earlier, losers.
What? Where the hell did that assumption come? No. There's a difference between you can lose and you're being statistically outperformed. That's a major difference.
That is what losing is. Arsenal just beat Sheffield United 6-0 like 2 days ago, like yesterday.
Okay, is it unfair that Michael Phelps keeps winning swimming competitions?
He's outperforming them. This is your argument. But you're saying it should be alarming when there are statistics showing that trans women are outperforming cis women. That's what you're saying,
and those statistics currently don't exist.
That's kind of a contradiction. But that's a contradiction.
No, the whole point is that people are claiming that it's unfair, right? But if it's unfair, then the statistics would show that trans women are statistically disproportionately winning more often than cis women, because that would point to an advantage. If they're not statistically outperforming cis women, there's statistically no advantage. So it's not statistically unfair. So there is not an issue. If there is an issue, then I'd go talking about how we can resolve that. For example, I would be fine with saying like, hey, if you're a trans woman and you want to compete in sports, then you need to have like transitioned some, or maybe in some kind of, in specific sports, the statistics bear out that someone needs to have been on puberty blockers or something, so they didn't go to mild puberty. Like, I'm fine with that.
But again, this is why I
but isn't that still creating the division? Doesn't that still create division?
What the point I was gonna make is, it doesn't. If they are women, you shouldn't have to go through all these steps. Like in terms of having to, pardon my crass use of word here, neuter the trans woman just so that they can compete with women. That's my premise. The reason why I say that is because I'm comparing it to other sports. I'll use football because I know that more. it's like Man City has won the Premier League for 5 times, but Bayern Munich 11 every season they win the Bundesliga because they're the richest team. Best players go there. They have the best facilities. People go where they can literally have an advantage. So you shouldn't be penalized for investing all your hard-earned money to creating the advantage to draw the best talents. What I'm trying to say is you looking for a performance like, it's back in performance is kind of disadvantaging and very discriminatory to trans, which is why I said it's kind of contradictory.
No, I get why you see the contradiction. Like the main reason why I say that is because people keep, and that's also what I feel Given may have been alluding to, like people keep yelling that for some reason it's majorly unfair for trans women to compete with cis women because of biological advantages. And like, I agree with you, like, yeah, there are levels in sports, and if you're better, you're better, because Phelps also just keeps winning and because he has a biological advantage. But what I'd say is, as soon as the statistics bear out,
that's what sport is the celebration of
advantage. I completely agree with you. The reason that I say if the statistics bear out that there is a statistical difference, that's when we should start looking into it. I wouldn't say that that's a reason to completely ban trans women, because that would still be wrong.
But based on what?
Exactly. It's a very difficult.
So just allow the.
I would always err on the side of inclusion.
So just allow the ones that are like don't have that major advantage in. Like how?
If you'd ask me personally, I would just like desegregate sex. Desegregate sex, that doesn't work. Desegregate sports entirely and make everything like level based, like performance based, because even if that means that in some sports you may have more men at the top and more women at the bottom or whatever, if it's all performance based, you inherently have people of the same level against each other, no matter their sex or gender or whatever. So it's already inherently,
you have different leagues for different people regardless of their
like weight classes in boxing or something.
Yeah, that would not go down well. That would not go down well. Yo, no. That sounds like death. Nah.
I mean, we're already segregating sports by performance, because you're not gonna get, and I'm hoping I won't get skewered for using the term because I know nothing about soccer/football. You're not going to let Premier League players play against high schoolers.
No, you're not gonna let Premier League players play against women. Just say it. You're not gonna let Premier League players play against.
And you're not gonna let high schoolers.
If those women are just as good as those Premier League players, fine. What's the issue?
Okay, but you're still not gonna let it happen.
You know how bad this would be.
I'm not going to not let it happen on the basis of their sex or gender. I'm just saying if they're at the same level, they're at the same level. So they're at the same level, which means they're at the same level.
But
did you guys see it? Did you guys?
You don't see it. Women in women's football, they actually suffer more injuries than men, especially around the ACL, and there is actually a difference there, that if you do play them against the men, that might increase the likelihood of them even getting more injured. Not because they can't compete, so to speak, but the pace that they would have to perform at is way too demanding.
Well, then you just make sure that the only women who get to compete at that level are those who can physically.
That's actually fair. I don't disagree with that, because I personally would want to see that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're physically fit enough not to get injured more often, then fine.
Okay, so bringing this all back to cancellation, because we went on a tangent there, but bringing this all back to
at least it was not the tangent that I didn't want to have. So we're still on track.
I mean, there is still. I mean, we still have 8 more minutes, so there's still hope. There's still hope.
You know how deep it is, like performance wise, like the level, the difference in performances.
Okay.
Like even just
if you're talking about the difference in performance, I'm like already just I'm talking about letting people at the same performance.
No, I know. But this is what I'm saying. Like,
okay, so the difference in performances is relevant because you'd only let those with the same performance compete.
But if people at the top, like, you would never get like, I don't think women would be satisfied to never be like heralded at the top because they'll just be getting like squashed to play at the lower league.
It heavily depends. There's lots of sports where women kick men's asses.
Like what?
We're better endurance runners.
Like what?
I'm joking.
Wait, what?
No, that's wrong. That's wrong. No.
I didn't even hear what he said.
I know that's wrong. Do you want to know why I know that?
Anyway, to get back on the topic of JK Rowling and cancellations, I just want to.
Meryl, wait. I don't say this. The world record for a female sprinter, by the way, the world record is not even top one. And I don't know what endurance. I don't know the word.
Like long distance.
Well, do you know that there's more things that go into sports than just your own physical, natural body?
I mean, okay, just pose this endurance thing and just put me out of my misery, please.
So like endurance, like long distance running, bro.
Okay, like, but who's the woman that holds the record for that?
Bro, all them Kenyans, bro. You're not beating them Kenyans.
I know. That's what I'm trying to say, fam.
Let's stop playing these games.
Your country stand up.
The pirates. Come on, bro. Come on. Them Ethiopians, bro. Are you kidding me? Nah.
No way.
Oh, also, women are generally slightly better at shooting.
I love her so much, man. She's like, yes, there is still hope.
Yeah.
Oh no way, really?
Yeah, like in triathlon or something.
Oh,
triathlon.
Like competitive shooting.
Okay, nice, good to know.
Oh, okay, fair. I didn't know.
Let's see, long distance. Yeah, long distance open water swimming.
Wow.
I was gonna say something.
It's because the male body is more geared towards like explosive force, while
I actually agree,
we tend to generally need more endurance to like keep up and keep everything working properly, especially while pregnant, for example.
This one actually this one actually makes sense.
Anyway, all of that
Meryl,
irrelevant because you also have to remember that men generally get way more chances and opportunities in sports, get way more funding. Like in average culture, who the fuck gives a fuck about women's sports? Nobody cares. Well, now everyone cares suddenly. But lots of women's leagues just don't get funded. They don't get attention. They don't get televised. They don't get the same number of trainers. They don't get the same, like, that's if you account for all of that, the differences are really not that big.
No, I don't disagree with you, Meryl. I don't actually disagree with you on this point. But I do want to correct you though, because I do think people still don't.
There's not no differences, by the way.
Okay, I don't know what you're referring to, but I'll just quickly before I lose my point.
Yeah, it was just.
I was saying that I was saying that in regards to interest in women's sports, there might be interest, but there's no real actual interest. For me, for something to be actually of value, they actually have to be investment and all those things. And when I look at women's sports, even those that play for in the football sense, because that's I love football too much, but anyway, in that area, because I do watch.
I know nothing about football.
But I do watch women's football, and I still see that the infrastructure is too little, even though that they don't invest in it. They are a subdivision of or a subset of a top Premier League team, like let's say Arsenal, for example, or Manchester United, who the men's, well, not Man United because the men's team is actually not as funded properly, but let's just, even the popular ones that do get financial backing, it doesn't trickle down to the women's side. So until I see something like that, that's when I'll be like, yeah, there is actually real potential.
Yeah.
Which is why I was saying to myself, like, you know, with all the hype around the World Cup, you know, the women that just passed, how many people watched it, etc. I'm like, listen,
I didn't even know there was a World Cup.
Thank you. No, but there was a lot of hype. There was a lot of hype, but the point, I was really angry.
If you say so. I'll take your word for it. It completely passed me by.
But the point I was gonna make was, it's like having a hype for a Ferrari that just drove by, but this could be like a 15-year-old Ferrari, like just a terrible car to drive. Like under the hood is terrible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, what I'd say is I just don't notice the same interest that the same interest in women's sports as people have in men's sports, because when it's men's World Cup football time, this entire country is just nuts, like absolutely incredible. And that's when I make sure that I'm even more of a hermit than I usually am. But
what happened, Kevin? Sorry, go on.
But if there's a women's World, I don't even know if there, like, if you say there is, I'll believe you. But I wouldn't even be able to tell that there was one, because I just don't see it living in this culture. You know, it just, nobody cares. Like, nobody notices, nobody mentions it. Like, the only sports that I see that women are very popular in is equestrianism.
Oh, yes.
And also, that's not even sex or gender segregated. Then men and women just compete against each other because you're riding a horse. Like, it doesn't matter.
That is true.
It doesn't matter at all. But I mean, it's because culturally, horse riding has for some reason been associated with women more than with men, even though riding horses was traditionally a manly thing, because you rode your horse into war, you know, and only rich people had horses, and rich people were generally men. So it's really weird how that shifted, but it did.
That's like what sport did black people used to play a lot?
Most of the kids in my horseback riding school were girls, and if there were boys, there were actually boys who just said that they were discriminated against, like it was called gay, as if doing feminine things makes you suddenly be same-sex attracted or same-gender attracted. That makes no sense. Anyway, but like, horseback riding is really looked down on for boys. Thankfully, less so.
So is netball.
The weird thing, however, the weird thing is that at the top level, you suddenly see a lot more men, because then suddenly it's because of the money thing. And it's kind of like with cooking. Like, people associate like cooking with, like, that's a woman's job. And there's a saying in Dutch, an old, outdated, very problematic saying that was een vrouw enige recht is het aanrecht, which means her only right is the kitchen counter, but the kitchen counter and right rhyme in Dutch, because the kitchen counter is aanrecht and a right is recht, so it rhymes. But when you look at like chef cooks and like top chefs, suddenly it's all men. Like, it's just, women are supposed to stay home and cook. That's what they're great at, but not good enough to do it professionally.
I will say this.
Makes no sense.
No. I get where you're coming from. I will say this though, yeah. Tessa, I really appreciate you, you know. Tessa,
there's a chat. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at the chat.
We always get a chat.
Hi, Tessa.
In regards, I see what
Tessa, these people are British, so when they say football, they mean soccer.
I do see what you're saying though, because but I don't think it's misogyny, so to speak, or anything like that. But I think it's just novelty, because it is, as
sure,
you
but
said,
why is it new?
No, okay. You see,
I don't think that it is currently misogyny that they're not interested. Well, in lots of cases it is, but I don't think it's inherently misogyny that people aren't interested. But it could have been misogyny, the reason why it has never gotten the same cultural traction, and because it's not culturally as popular, people aren't as interested in it, because you're kind of going with your culture, you know? Like,
right.
If it had culturally been as popular, most people would be equally interested in it, I guess.
Wow, we have really gone into a lot of tangent.
Try bringing it back like 50 minutes ago.
I do apologize, but we don't have long left, so I will say
no,
this.
we don't.
Let me just ask this question that hopefully encompasses everything that we spoke about in this whole on this whole show, and I haven't asked it before. Cancellation. Do you believe that it is something that society should strive for in order to get justice where they might be failing? I'll go with you.
Depending on what you mean by the term.
Oh God, I hate when you go specific.
Because I said it last time as well. I'm not in favor of silencing. I'm in favor of criticizing harmful views.
Right.
And if those people don't change those views, provided that they are actually harmful views, because, opinions. But if they don't change those views, and then it's like either if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. But I'm not in favor of impeding free speech. Like, I feel that people should have, well, not in all cases, like, there's limits to free speech. There's like even legal limits to free speech, even in America. But what I want to say mostly is, like, I want there to still be criticism. I'm not an advocate for going out to ruin someone's life or to forcefully take their platform away. But I am fine with saying, like, hey, this person is problematic. Here's why. Like, explain, show, have evidence, instead of just trust me, bro. But, like, this problem is problematic, and here's how they're using their money in a problematic way. So it might be better if you don't financially support them anymore, and then they can make their decision to do so or not to do so. If that's what we're talking about, and just having criticism against harmful views and just having public discourse on those harmful views, that's fine. Going out and intentionally trying to take someone's job away, even though those specific views were not a concern for that job, like I said earlier with the example of if someone is, like, actively being pro-child, then they shouldn't be working at a daycare. And if you find out that someone is pro those things and they are working at a daycare, they probably shouldn't be working at that job to keep the kids safe. But if it's a job that has nothing to do with it, and you're just going like, cancel it, then no. What's that going to do? That's just like putting harm on top of harm, and it's not going to make them change their views in any way. Like, that's why I said at the beginning, like, silencing and canceling are not words that I use, only ironically.
What word would you prefer?
Like, just to describe that thing, or
yes, to describe what you would view like the ideal.
Oh, because those are two different things. Because what is described by canceling is not something that I advocate for.
Not necessarily canceling or silencing, but just a word that you would prefer to use to kind of describe or bring together the advantages of both.
Just harm reduction and criticizing harmful views.
Okay, criticism. Got it.
Yeah, just criticism.
Criticism. Okay, so you get given. Do you think that cancel culture? Not cancel culture. That's the wrong word. Do you think that cancellations should have a place in society today? And
not in the way we see it today. I think cancellation or cancel culture, what should really happen is more like reform culture. Give people chances to change their ways if they're doing things that are harmful. Give them helpful advice to change their ways. If they choose not to change their ways, people have the right, after giving them the ample amount of advice to help themselves, have the right to allow them to do what they want to do, but not for them not to listen to it. I think the key is to...
I have a serious issue with that.
The key is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And if you do love other people as you love yourself, you extend the same grace and mercy as you'd want extended to you if you're in a predicament. You might be hard-headed at a certain point, but you should always extend that mercy to other people, even if they're hard-headed. Because at a certain point, they might see the light. With enough perseverance through love, all things are possible. So all we do is show grace and mercy and hope that they come to the saving grace and realization of their mistakes.
I do have an issue with that, like the idea that if they don't change their ways. They have the right to just keep doing whatever. So that means that someone just needs to keep stubborn long enough to be left alone.
You weren't listening. I said, if they don't listen to the advice we're giving them, the people on the other side who've given them the advice have the right to just say, you know what, we tried to help you, and then go their separate ways and leave them to their own, to do what they want to do. Sure.
But I do think that person should still be criticized nonetheless. It just doesn't have to be the same person doing the criticizing. Well, like, if you don't have the spoons for it, you're not obligated to. But okay, so I mean, especially what I want to say, like, yes, love you. I mean, I'm not into the Christian stuff, but
you had your chance, Mero. You had your chance, bro. What are you doing?
But if you love other people, that also means that you criticize those who have harmful views to other people, because you're doing it out of love for the people who are harmed.
Because the Bible says this: you have love carefully concealed is not good. Open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed. So it's better.
The Bible says a lot of stuff.
It's better to openly say to someone that, hey, what you're doing is not good and it's not helping you. This is what you should do. Eventually, if they don't listen, you are allowed to leave them to their own devices. That's what
I don't know. I don't know how
that's what you're allowed to do.
Usually.
Yeah, the Bible also says, "I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over men, but to be in silence." So I wouldn't be quoting the Bible here.
Right. So, guys, okay.
There's a reason for that, but anyway.
Oh gosh, I can't believe.
We don't have the time for that.
Okay, I can't believe that this is the outro. I mean, usually I want to have it so that your final points are basically heard, and it's not back and forth again. But I guess closing arguments doesn't always work out like that. But gosh, I don't think my opinion actually matters now. I just want to say, OnlyFans.
Of course not. You're a cis man. Your opinion is irrelevant. No, I'm kidding. That was obviously facetious.
I know. No, it's all right. No, I see both of your points. I don't agree. I think if someone says something that could incite criminal, that is look, there is already, like, if you are saying something and you are admitting to a crime, like it's like let's say, oh, you're saying that I love children, you will be investigated immediately. Like, there's no contest around it. Like, if someone reports that tweet or text message,
and we do mean loving children in a very specific way, because I do hope that people love their children, but not in that way.
100%. And if the person goes to jail, you hope for their reform.
Okay, we're not discussing.
I
was just referencing what Mero was talking about earlier in terms of the tweets, making tweets online about loving children. They're not going to work. They're not going to work anyway. If you're making those tweets
with this line tangent of
but point is, the point I'm trying to make is speech is speech. I don't think you can get sure, you'll feel anguish. Yeah, sure, you feel anxiety. Everyone feels one way or the other when they hear something that is not favorable to them. In fact, when I watch some channels that are liberal and I hear some of their talking points, I actually agree with a lot of liberals. I must say, like Shoe on Head, for example. I love her, but there are some liberals that, like Vosh, for example, he makes my ears crawl. Like,
okay, wrap it up.
I do not think Vosh would very much appreciate you describing him as a liberal.
Wrap it up, guys. Tangents.
Is it? Sorry. I don't
He's a socialist.
Okay. The point I'm saying is, look, everyone has their views. Everyone has the right to express them. I'm not saying anyone says that they didn't have that right. There is no such thing as harm just by expressing, in my opinion, expressing opinions that are not seen. Maybe it's a fear that it could incite something. Maybe it's a fear like that. But in terms of inherent harm, my opinion, I don't see it. I don't see it.
Okay. Google stochastic terrorism.
Wrap it up.
Okay, but I do want to say on the next episode we are looking at OnlyFans and sex workers and whether society is engaging in a different type of misogyny by excluding them from relationships. I think this is going to be very interesting. I want to explore this because I really do, because I'm seeing the laws around, like Netherlands, for example. It's very easy to get work there. In fact, it's the speech laws are very relaxed. And then I look
actually the speech laws are stricter here than in the US.
Right.
Because in the US, libel has to be false, and in the Netherlands it doesn't have to be.
Tangents. Let's wrap it up.
No. I actually appreciate her correction, because that was a misspeak from me, because I was going to say,
here you can actually be charged if you say something that damages someone's reputation, even if it is true.
Right.
And that you cannot be charged for that in the US.
In 2 minutes, I gotta go, guys.
Okay, but what I was going to say was, we are going to. I find it interesting that they have such stable laws in regards to sex workers, especially because it's around the subject of speech in the US, which has a lot of which the laws over there for speech are very liberal. Like, you can say what you want in the US. And over, like, I find that very interesting to see how they can't do the sex work, and then they not only have that kind of governmental, not gonna say oppression, but there's a different word I want to use, governmental.
I also don't agree with that particular part of the law, but
right, yeah, okay, governmental limitation or stigmatization, and then they go out into society and they face more stigmatization. I wanna explore this and what that could mean.
Yeah, me too, because I don't even see the connection between those two. So that'll be very interesting for next time.
Right. Oh wow. Okay. So we got a show in our hands. Thank you. So thank you guys. Thank you everyone that tuned in the conversation and
for sure
using the conversation. Thank you so much, Tessa, for tuning in. Yeah, I will see you guys on the next episode. Meryl and Given, thank you so much once again. Have a great evening. Take care.
You're welcome.
Take care of yourself. Bye.